The 27 Club is a list of famous actors and musicians who all died at the age of 27. This club is famous for claiming the lives of famous people loved by many. Kurt Cobain, lead singer of Nirvana, joined the 27 Club on April 5, 1994, when he took his own life. There were many factors that played into his decision to end his life. Some of these included depression, the pressures of fame, and drug use. Although there was much speculation as to whether or not this was really a result of suicide, investigators worked diligently in the years following his death to piece together what happened that day. Maybe Kurt Cobain isn't a big name that comes to mind when you think of famous people who have died too young. Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix are also members of the 27 Club. There is much more to being famous than what we are showed in the media and on the news. Kurt Cobain is a great example of what fame can do to a person. He struggled with depression, he struggled with the pressures of stardom, and he struggled with drug use, which all led to his decision to end his life. According to an article by Marco Mardigoff, at a young age, Kurt Cobain struggled with depression. This began with his parents' divorce, and it continued as he aged. He had a tough childhood growing up. He grew up in a broken home with two parents who showed nothing but hate toward each other. He also had a stepfather who chose to love his own children. His father chose to love his stepchildren over his own son. Even when he began to play music and sing, he did not feel any better, and he still struggled with depression. His manager, Danny Goldberg, described him as a walking time bomb. According to an article written by Brad Witter in the New York Times, the excitement of becoming hugely famous did not help Cobain like he had hoped. Being famous puts a lot of pressure on a person. Kurt Cobain was no exception. He wanted to quit his own band. He had given up. The pressure of being famous and the need to live up to a certain stereotype became too much. Kurt Cobain hated stereotypes. He did not think that there was a specific way that a rock star should have to act or should have to show themselves. He stated at one point that it was a lonely lifestyle, even though he had his friends and his family, which included his wife, Courtney Love, and his daughter, Frances Bean. He quickly began to spiral, and this caused his band and his family much concern. He became desperate. Kurt Cobain had turned into a stereotypical rock star. After being forced to go to rehab by his family and his band, he fled the facility after only 2 days of treatment. From there, he called his wife, told her not to worry, told her he loved her. He then went to a friend's house, where he purchased a .38 caliber shotgun. He assured his friend that he did not want this gun to inflict any kind of self-harm. He then locked himself in the greenhouse of his home in Seattle. Here, he sat down, he wrote a long-winded suicide note, he got high, and then he shot himself. Many people believe that this shooting could not possibly be a suicide. This was because of the amount of heroin found in his system and the size of the gun. According to an article on CBS News, however, Mike Syensky, a retired detective who investigated suicides, was called in to further investigate this mystery. He confirmed that Cobain's death was, in fact, a result of suicide. Kurt Cobain's story has showed us that there is more to being famous than what we may think. Today, I told you about one of the many members of the infamous 27 Club. Kurt Cobain, lead singer of the band Nirvana, took his own life April 5, 1994. Cobain struggled with depression, the pressures of fame, and drug use. All of these things contributed to his decision to end his suffering. So the next time that you read about a famous person, or you're watching a movie or a documentary, really think about what these people could be going through behind the scenes. The media only shows us what they want us to see, but it's not all fame and glory.
How do I